One second. All right, so we do these town halls twice a year, so thank you very much for giving us your time. The reason why we do these town halls is because we kind of want everybody to feel like they're a part of something and see, like, even newer members can see a recap of the last 6 months since the last town hall. We talk about our ideas for what's coming up, and this is a great way for us to gauge interest in possible event ideas as well. Um, so thanks again, everybody, for showing up. I really love seeing this many people, not only in Discord but also in the FC basement. It's great when we can all come together like this because I think when you're part of a large FC, sometimes the impression is that um, it's just a very large. And I think I'm going to quote Coco with this. She said last night that sometimes when you look at a large FC, you think it's just going to be pure chaos. And I've been in large FCs before, many years ago before I started this one. So for me to hear that from somebody joining that this is not a chaotic place, it really makes me feel even better when we can come together like this as a group, as a family, and it's a great way for you guys to see how we're doing. We can gauge your feedback on stuff. We can, talk about other things that are coming up, just overall in general. So I'll get started on the agenda. So I did post the agenda in Discord if you want to follow along. It's under the announcements. It's a little bit up. Most of it is going to be. It's basically in point form, but I am going to elaborate on some of the things in there as well. So the first thing I want to talk about briefly is our mission and values. So obviously, when I set out to make this FC, I think it will be 7 years now, 2014, 6 years, 6 years now. It'll be 6 years in August. When I set out to make this FC, I had a very clear image of what I wanted, and it was me and a very small group of friends that started it, with the intention of having a place where we could feel to be where we could be ourselves with no judgment, where we could have a lot of open conversation with each other and just build lasting friendships. And never in my wildest dreams did I ever imagine we would become what we are today. Our FC started with only 5 people, and then over the course of our 6-year journey, look, we've become this beautiful place where I'm surrounded by people that I love and care for every single day. So never, prior to playing this game, I always thought, like, when you play MMOs, you're just playing with people on the screen that you really aren't that close to. And this is my first MMO, so I was proven so wrong with this FC, especially in the hardest parts of my life. So I just want to thank everybody for being here and being a part of this community and helping us just become what we are today. So it's great because prior to this FC, I was in a large FC that was about the same size as we are now, and all it was every day was people arguing. There was a lot of different people who had different ideas of what they wanted in an FC, so it was just constant fighting. And prior to that, I was actually in an 18 plus adult FC, and I was so mortified at some of the conversations that were happening openly in the FC chat, that when I built this FC, or my friends were like, we should build our own FC, I had a clear image of what I wanted our FC to be, just a place where everybody feels welcome. And I know the majority of us are adults because I did ask everybody in your time to fill out our FC census that I made, just to kind of get an understanding of what kind of player base we have. And I know that a majority of people in our FC are adults. We only have 1 or 2 people. We have, from my knowledge here in the census, we have 4 people who are under the age of 18. So the fact that we're the majority of us is an adult FC, it's very easy for us to sway into those adult conversations and be that open with people. And that's okay in private link shells, and it's okay with your friends and your close stuff, but we always have to remember that some conversations are triggers for negative emotions in other people. And I have not seen any drama or anything upsetting in FC chat in since almost a year now, since Shadowbringers came out. And that just shows that everybody here respects each other and loves each other, and it's just, it blows my mind, and I get emotional in real life when I talk to, my staff at my job, just how much emotion there is, and how much people in this FC care for each other. Um, so I'm really proud of everybody for respecting each other, keeping our FC chat PG-13. I know the occasional lewd joke comes out here and there, and that's totally fine. So I just wanted to reiterate that we're not going to police people who are just being themselves or anything like that. We want you to be yourself, but we also want you to respect other people as well, and continue to do what you're already doing. Like, this is not me trying to be like, preaching about what I'm looking for, because this is stuff that we're doing every single day. And just keep up that great work, because everybody here is living and breathing our FC's mission, and it's just such a proud experience for me to lead such a great FC. And just briefly, I know that the leadership team asks everybody who joins to read our charter. And the reason why we do that is not because we want anybody to be scared of the rules. We just want people to know what they're getting themselves into, because we are a special place. And it amazes me because a lot of times we have on our website, we have email access that goes to the leadership team, and there's some things that you submit, like Good Samaritan stories, that come to me. And we have gotten hate mail from other FCs on the server, a lot of times claiming that we can't be all the things that we say we are. We can't be this warm community where people help each other. It's not possible. But then when somebody joins our FC, I always try to do a follow-up, or at least somebody in the leadership team tries to do a follow-up with them to see how they're fitting in and all that jazz. And a lot of times, like 9 times out of 10, we hear, especially people who join who are first hesitating, like they don't believe that we are what we say we are. And then when people join our FC, they actually see that we are what we say we are. And it's really unique, because there are some FCs out there where you don't get that feeling of connection. You don't get the community spirit. And we work very, very hard to provide as much as we can back to the FC, so everybody feels included. And I know sometimes it might feel like you're getting you're drowned out in FC chat, or sometimes it might feel like somebody missed a cry for help. But I want to reassure you that everybody on the leadership team is adamantly watching FC chat to see where we can help people. And if we see somebody's call for help, if we try to reiterate that call for help if we ourselves cannot help. But it's great, because when you see somebody asking for help in FC chat, I don't think I've seen one example. Only saw one example in the last couple of weeks where the person may have felt ignored, because usually when somebody asks for help, it's immediate. There's like 4 or 5 people who are automatically offering help. Today, when I came back from dinner, I saw somebody asked for help with a dungeon, and I immediately was like, "Oh, I'll help. Definitely, let's do an FC party of it." And it was already full with FC mates. So that just shows that, like, there's everything that I dreamed this FC would be 6 years ago. We've become so much more than I could have ever imagined. Now, I do get some questions from people in the FC about like, how are we so organized, and how are we such like a positive FC? I'm going to share something in Discord, because I think that anybody who wants to be a part of something bigger, whenever I'm scouting out possible leaders for this FC, I'm always referring back to a list of expectations that I set. So give me 1 second here to post it in Discord. 1 second. Why is Discord slow? Probably because we're all in here. Wow. All right, so I'm going to post it in the announcements section, so it's easy to get at the very, very top of our Discord. So the reason why I'm sharing this is I want everybody to know what everybody on the leadership team is looking at every single day. And these are the things that I look for in anybody that I would want to help me lead this FC. So I pretty much, if you look at this list that I just shared, the first 6 at the top are what are basic expectations of every leader of this FC. And then the bottom ones, the elective ones, are what we ask that they pick, like a leader will pick up too. I do every single one of these things every day. So for me to look for that in others, that's why I feel like we have this really strong team. Now, the one thing I want to highlight in this is number 6, where it says coffee time with the starry in quotes. This is a one-on-one that I have with every leader every 60 to 90 days, where that leader shares with me all of the positive contributions they have done to give back to the FC. And obviously, if there's a leader on the team that's not doing these expectations, it wouldn't be a conversation where I would want that person to continue on the team, because the whole point in having an FC that gives back to each other is to have a strong team that believes in the same messages that I do. So I've always been somebody who's always wanted to be transparent in what I believe our FC's mission and values are. And this is a way to, to clear cut show everybody in the FC what we do behind the scenes. So you guys can see that not only are you that you're part of such a great community, but this is the things that it takes every day to keep it that way. So I think that's great for everybody to kind of look at. The top part we're just going to talk about just for a quick second, because I know with the FC chat moderation. So I don't think, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but does anybody here, and type in FC chat, type in say chat to not clog FC chat. Do you feel that your leadership team is a police force with moderation? And I just definitely want to hear your feelings on it, because this is a very sensitive part of the expectations. Yeah, so what I'm seeing here in say chat is, so the majority are saying that we aren't a police, and that's what we want. We don't want you guys to ever feel like you're being oppressed. We don't want you to feel like you can't talk about stuff in FC chat. What we do is, when we know that there's a topic that might go down a negative path, you'll notice one of the leaders will probably chime in, and they will talk about something else to try and change the topic, because we don't want people fighting. And just like the Black Lives Matter movement and the coronavirus, like these are all very serious things happening in the world, and people need to feel free to express themselves. The only thing that we ever ask is that when you're expressing yourself, limit it to your personal experiences and never an opinion, because I can guarantee you, with an FC of 510 people, there's going to be people who have opposite opinions. So talking about, like, for example, I had to close my store, and I'm a store manager, so I had to close my store in March, and it was closed for 2 months. And I didn't know what to do with my life, because I literally had a big part of my life ripped away from me. So that's something that I could share with the FC, but I would never come back, and I've never seen this in our FC, but I've seen people on my Facebook say stuff like, the coronavirus is a hoax and all these things, and you're entitled to have your opinions, but that's what we're trying to keep out of FC chat, and I think that's fair. Talk about your personal experience and stuff like that. We just want you to know that be yourself, first and foremost. Be yourself in all ways that you can, as long as you're being respectful of other people. And this is, again, not new stuff. It's stuff that we ask you to read when you join. You read our charter. One of the first couple of points are all about respect and inclusivity, or inclusiveness. So this is just a reminder of what happens behind the scenes, so you guys can see how we manage to foster this environment. Now, the other thing I want to touch on, just in the section of the FC mission and values, is the escalation process, because I don't think that this is something that many people really know about, and it's super important that we talk about it, because sometimes somebody might say something that crosses that line, and a leadership member might not see it, and then what happens to that? What happens to the person who feels like affected by this comment or affected by this person's behavior? What then? So again, I'm an incredibly organized person, so I'm going to post in the announcement section the escalation process that every leader in this FC is committed to in order to uphold those values that everybody feels here every single day. So this is the Black Waltz escalation process that every leadership member goes through whenever a complaint is brought to our attention. And I can tell you, we rarely get complaints, like probably once every couple of weeks. We don't know if that's because people aren't comfortable bringing concerns to us, or if we just have this amazing place where things don't happen. And people are going to butt heads, but what happens when somebody crosses a line? We want every single person to feel completely comfortable to approach any person on the leadership team with any concern, because every concern is valid no matter how little it might feel to somebody. If it feels big to you, if it's big to us, and we're going to do our best to investigate it. So I just want to go through this flow chart with everybody, just so everybody understands. So let's say somebody says an inappropriate comment in FC chat. And I'm going to use an example. Again, this is not an opinion any of us holds, but there was a person in our FC previously who said that the coronavirus was a good thing because it's going to kill off all of the people who are mooching off of government resources. So obviously, that crosses a line, and that's not something we would ever promote, or we would never, ever stand behind. That's basically talking genocide of elderly individuals. Yeah, somebody did say that. It was back in when this was all starting to happen. And see how all your reactions in FC chat, that was the leadership's reaction. So in a situation like that, if there's thankfully a leader was online, and we caught it right away. And but what happens if a leader is not online? That's obviously a comment that's going to make somebody upset. Somebody's not going to be okay with that comment. We were asking that you screenshot the comment, or if it's in Discord, somebody says something in Discord, just take a note of who was in Discord with you, and then bring that concern to us, because we definitely want to look at it. And if you see, the first box in the escalation process is the issue racist or discriminatory or malicious? And if you see where it says yes there is no question, they are not welcome in the FC. They're immediately removed, and that's it. Race, so that could be anything to do with racism, that could be homophobia, that could be transphobia, that could be anything that is intentionally coming from a place of malice or vitriol against one part of society, because we want everybody here to feel welcome and included. And then obviously, if that person is, if it was a smaller situation where they, somebody may have said it may have been a big deal, and they want to come back to the FC, we would then reevaluate after 30 days of them not being in the FC. And if you see, the next box after the termination is, will the reinstatement of membership affect the safety and security of any existing members? This is important because this falls into the line of like sexual harassment or harassment in general. Obviously, if somebody is removed from the FC for sexually harassing somebody, them coming back is obviously going to negatively affect the person or persons that they had the issues with. So as you see in the top right there, it says if it is yes, then they will never be allowed back in the FC again. So this is just I'm not really gonna go through all of it here, because it's just a way that you guys can see what we do behind the scenes to kind of keep this great environment going. And we do investigate everything. And there are cases where sometimes somebody is angry at somebody else, and they might bring a concern to us that's not a real concern, which is why you see after one of the leadership members has taken that issue upon their own, is the complaint valid? If it's a no, obviously the team is going to be shared with the team, and that person is going to get a talking to about filing false claims, and it'll be treated as that person is themselves is having an issue. So we do give 3 chances for anything serious, and that's, I think, more than fair. And when I say serious, I mean, let's say it's a cultural issue where somebody might not know a comment that they made is negative towards another culture. That's when we would bring up the first point where it says, individuals politely reminded of our charter. And this is just a way that you guys can see that we don't want you to be afraid to come to us. And we don't have many issues here. And I think that's just because this is the stuff that goes into keeping the FC the way that it is. But we also want you to know that we work very, very, very hard to make sure everybody here feels welcomed and included. Does anybody have any comments that they want to mention in Stay Chat, or any concerns you have about the things that we shared, about the expectations or escalations? When you say a valid complaint could be filed, but with something of a misunderstanding, do you have like an example maybe? Because generally, if somebody is complaining that they're uncomfortable to a leadership member, we take that at face value that they're uncomfortable, and we're going to look into it. But if during our investigation those two individuals have come to a mutual understanding over a misunderstanding, then we wouldn't go any further with it. We would cancel the complaint. If that answers your question. Yeah, like Yuno said, we always investigate to make sure, because we want to make sure everybody is protected here. Our number one priority is protecting our players' gaming experience within our FC. And you'll notice, like, if you hear me offering to help somebody with content, I'm always saying, I want to protect the player's experience, so I'm not going to spoil it for them in any way. I want them to experience for themselves. It's the same kind of thing there. Skyman, if you look at the end of that chart, actually, where the very right side, does the situation warrant a final warning? And you look up there, it says, yes, it does. The next box says, feedback is sought from the entire Flare team, which is our leadership team. And then we place a vote based on all of the evidence presented. So we've only had to ever remove somebody for charter conduct 7 times in 6 years. And it's a majority vote too. Let's see, it's more like. Well, that's the point of the investigation, Grim. Like, and multiple warnings only come for the same thing. So let's say you have a misunderstanding with a member, and then that member files a complaint, and then that's the end of it. If that misunderstanding doesn't happen again with that member, it's not going to progress past that first one. But if it's like let's say there's a separate issue completely with a different member, it would be treated as a brand new concern. The progressive warning system is just based on, like, those situations where, somebody might say a comment in FC chat that was sexist, and obviously we're going to approach that person because they may not know what their comment was sexist, and sometimes some comments aren't from a malicious intent. Like, if you say the N word or the 3-letter F word to somebody in FC chat, that falls under malicious intent, and that would be the first box. There would be no warnings, no nothing. It's just revoking of membership, because when you join this FC, it's made quite aware that we're not a place that would tolerate that anyway. So that progressive escalation stuff is just for the misunderstandings, and we do actively investigate. And we do have, if one member of the leadership team takes on an issue, they will own it until the very end. So there's no multiple people getting involved and somebody getting getting 5 different people coming after them with questions. Like, that's just not fair. So we're very organized in that way as well. I hope that answers your question. All right, so just the next part of the agenda is just a quick recap of the last 6 months. I kind of tied that into the missions and values because it's very interesting to me that, a year ago or a year and a half ago, everybody in the leadership team was actively recruiting, and I can't think of the last time anybody in this FC on the lead was actively recruiting. And it just blows my mind that people are inviting their friends here, because it just means that it's the things that I want us to have every day when we play with each other. It just means that these things are happening. If people are confident enough to bring their friends, that tells me that this is a place that is everything that I dreamed about it. So, yeah, and I'm so glad to hear that, Astrin, too, because if you look at the expectations of the leadership team, one of the points is an exit interview. It's the very bottom. Every single person that leaves our FC, we follow up with, because we want to know what can we do better, how can we change so that this might not happen in the future. And in our exit interviews, in almost all of the cases, people are leaving to go to friends FCs. It's very, very rare that somebody leaves because of a personal issue against the FC. I think it was like something like 76% when I did the math leave our FC, and it has nothing to do with the FC. So like server transfers, they're deleting their characters, that sort of thing. So I'm very much involved in numbers. I love to see how we're doing as an FC. That's why we do our ranking system the way we do here. If you're an active member of the FC, you automatically get promoted to meteor rank, because if you look at the FC menu under rank, under the rank topic, it breaks down every single person's rank in RFC and how many we have of each member. And when I did the math and I calculated, it was 81% of our RFC has been online in the last 2 weeks. And that's why I do the rank system that way. And if somebody wants to go beyond that media rank, I fall back onto the expectations list. So when I see members or other leaders see members who are going above and beyond all the time, giving back to the community, those are the people that I want on the leadership team. So if anybody ever thought of, potentially moving up to become an FC leader of Waltz, there is no limited time frame to how long you have to be in the FC before you're considered for a leadership position. We've promoted people as early as 1 month or as late as like 2 years. It's really up to how much you give back to the community. And that's why I wanted to share that expectations list and kind of talk about like the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. So again, thank you everybody. I can't not log into this game daily now. It's just because I get so much back from you guys. And I just help people, and giving back to people just makes me happy. And seeing everybody giving back to each other makes me very happy too. So again, thank you for all that you do in the FC. And nothing that you do goes unnoticed. And that's why we kind of talked about that. So any points anybody wants to add to that before I move on? Yeah, like Kellen mentioned, the ranking system is just based on activity. Everybody is the same. We have no restrictions. If you need something from the FC chest and you're only a demi rank, just ask somebody who's in a higher position, because everything the FC offers is free for everybody. So I don't want anybody to ever feel like just because they recently joined the FC, they can't access something. We just want you to know that there's nothing you can't do in this FC. You just have to ask somebody. And the only reason why demi ranks don't have access to everything is because our FC was robbed 3 years ago, and they didn't take much. There was nothing taken. It was nothing taken. They just joined our FC, cleaned out our FC chest, and left the FC. So that's the only reason why we do it based on activity in the FC. So once you're in the FC for 2 weeks, or you're a really high positive contributor to the environment of the FC or the community, you can move up faster. And yeah, so again, it's like we nothing that anybody does goes unnoticed. The good, we want you to know that we are praising the good, and that's why we have the Good Samaritan Award. I'll talk about that a little bit later, a couple of changes that are coming to that award as well. But yeah, is there any... So thanks again, everybody, and that's all I have to say about that. I'm pretty sure everybody has, like I said, everybody should have read the charter when they joined. Every time we have a town hall, we have a leadership meeting the week before to kind of go over what the agenda at the town hall is going to be. And we do a charter review at the leadership meeting to see if anything needs to be changed or updated, because obviously with an FC changing every day or and growing every day, the needs of our members change. So we do a charter review, and then we vote on if any changes need to be made. But the entire leadership team was pretty unanimous last week that the charter is really good the way that it is, and no changes need to be made. But we did bring up that we wanted to talk about the escalations part, which I just did, so that everybody knows that we want you to be comfortable, first and foremost. If there's a concern that you're having, or if like a member is making you uncomfortable for whatever reason, they may not know they're making you uncomfortable, and every complaint is brought to us, is treated anonymously, and nobody knows about the situation unless the person needs to, unless the leader needs to involve another leader for an opinion. Everything is handled one-on-one confidentially. So don't feel like if you make a complaint, we're going to blast your name and make you uncomfortable. That would never happen. Everything happens in confidence. And yeah, that's basically all I wanted to touch on with the charter. How do you guys feel about the charter? Do you think we should update anything? I'll let you guys chat and say chat if you want to. The charter has evolved quite a few times in the course of our FC. We've added more. We've removed some stuff. We've streamlined it to make it easier to understand. It's just, yeah. Perfect. So it looks like from everybody that's talking, joyous. I can't put the lofty in there. We're a secret organization. Come on. All right. So the next thing I'm just going to quickly touch on is Discord voice chat etiquette. And again, this is not to call anybody out. We're not here to point fingers because we don't really see this happening a lot. But this is just a reminder of Discord chat etiquette, because sometimes, like especially later at night, we have a lot of people in Discord. So just the first thing to remember is we want everybody to feel included. So let's say you're going to be doing a raid or a dungeon with somebody in the FC or a couple people. Obviously, you want to join a dungeon or raid voice chat room, so you guys are kind of off on your own, doing your own thing. But if you're not doing any content like that, consider going back to the general channel, so that not everybody feels, so the people that might look at Discord and see you in the raid room, because there's some times where, 7 or 8 FC members might be doing a raid, and then they finish the raid, but they stay in the raid room. As a newer member who might want to join Discord, or even an existing member who might want to join Discord and hang out, if they look at the chat and see that all these members are in the raid room, they may be, uncomfortable joining, or they don't want to interrupt. So just remember that we want everybody to feel included. So if you are not doing any content that's not related to, or that's not doing any individual content, just make sure you are going in the general channel. I think that's more than fair, It's and same thing where if you are gonna do content, rather than there be 20 people in Discord, and 4 of those people are doing Palace of the Dead or whatever, consider leaving the general channel to go off and do your own thing. So that way there's not strategies being yelled in Discord, just nobody talking over each other, that sort of thing. Any questions about that stuff, guys, or any points you want to add to that? Another thing, too, is it's very difficult for leadership to be present in Discord all the time. Usually there's always somebody in the leadership team in Discord when there's something going on. And it's just because we're also part of the community and we love you guys. But sometimes when leadership is not present, it's difficult for somebody to have evidence or concern or proof of a concern that, how can I phrase this? So let's say there might be times where there's nobody present on the leadership team to moderate, and somebody is being very, very negative in voice chat. How do we deal with that sort of situation? We don't ever want anybody to be afraid to join Discord because somebody is already in there who may be negative. And obviously we were trying to foster a very positive and inclusive atmosphere. So if somebody is making you feel uncomfortable in Discord, I would rather address that uncomfort than have you feeling like you could never join Discord. Because I love talking to you guys. Actually, during the pandemic, I got to know a lot more people in the FC because I was in voice chat a lot more often than I was before. So I would hate to ever feel uncomfortable. So please bring up, please bring up any negativity that you might be experiencing. And this is not something that we're seeing. We're just, it's just a pleasant reminder. And then just 2 sidebars to that as well. If you are on push to talk or you are on voice activated, if you try to keep the non-talking noises out of your mic, just because there have been situations where somebody doesn't know this, but they're eating potato chips and their mic is right next to their mouth, and everybody else in Discord hears and it's not like nobody wants to like point it out. Nobody's like trying to be like, hey, you're being rude, because that's not it at all. It's just a matter of that person may not know. So just a slight reminder that if you are doing something that is not, talking related or something like that, just mute yourself, so that way it leaves the channel open for people who are having conversations. And I think that is it. The music bot. That's the last point I wanted to bring up. There is a music bot in Discord too that we like to use late at night. Make sure that you get permission from everybody in the channel before you start it up, because there's been a couple situations where people are having a relaxing conversation. Somebody joins Discord, tells the music bot to play a banger, and it kind of throws off the conversation. And just any time that somebody asks, hey, can I turn the music bot on? I don't think I've ever heard a situation where somebody said no. So, I mean, just be, courteous and offer that you're going to put on good music and keep it, again, non-offensive, just for the sake of not being offensive. So Some people just like to lurk in Discord too, and that is totally okay. Even if you don't have a mic, please, 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 please come and hang out with us, because a lot of the times, like last night, for example, we were climbing up Kugane Tower together and having it was just a laughing fit. It was so much fun, and we don't want anybody to feel like just because you don't have a mic doesn't mean you can't participate. You can just come and lurk. Sometimes I come and lurk, you know, as the FC leader. I'll just mute my mic and I'll just chill because I'm doing something outside of the game or FC related, and I just want to listen in and have fun with you guys. So yes, and like Brock mentioned there, if you see the Sir Amric name in the Discord, the bot is playing. It might be loud. You can right-click on the name Sir Amric in the Discord channel, and you can mute him or turn the volume down. But if you see him playing in chat, it means that everybody in the chat already has agreed that the music's okay. So that's it for Discord chat etiquette. We could jump to the next thing, which is really fun. So I'm going to pull up the FC census, actually, that we did. I think we had something like 200 members filled it out, which to me was phenomenal. And a couple of reasons why I wanted to do the census was kind of get an understanding of where our player base is and kind of see what the FC's majority is, like what the FC likes to play, where the majority jobs are and stuff like that. So thank you to everybody who filled it out. I had a lot of fun looking at the graphs and data, and you wouldn't think that, again, being a very organized in real life manager, seeing this sort of thing makes me super, super happy. So let's do I'm going to give 100,000 gills to the person who is the first person that is correct when I say, what do you think the #1 job played in our FC is? No, job, not role. Squirrel got it. Oh, nope, sorry. On my screen, Alu got it. So the #1 job played in our FC is actually White Mage, which is it's hilarious. So that means that the percentage is 12.5% of the people who took our census play White Mage. That was the highest one. The next highest one, I'm just going to sort it here. The next highest one is actually Paladin and Gunbreaker tied at 9% or 8.82% each. So it's kind of really neat. So Ali, you just won yourself 100,000 gil for guessing that right. So we're going to do another one as well. What do you guys think I don't care about spelling, but make sure you get the race. What is the #1 race played in our FC? Kirika got it. So the #1 race played in our FC is Mikote. No reward for this. Does anybody want to guess the percentage? Oh, some people are pretty close. The amount of people who play Mikote in our FC is 33.6%. Pretty neat stuff. I was like, yeah, Lala's gonna, and then, yeah, like said, that's a lot considering we have 500 members. For those that are curious, the next one behind that is Hure, so Humanoid at 19.4%, then Aura at 19.3%. And then Vieira at 9.7%, followed by Lalafell at 6.7%, and Ellison at 5.2%, Rogidin at 5.2%, and then Hrothgar at 1%. So kind of neat to know that stuff. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I thought maybe Hure would be the #1, but then I guess the infatuation of the cat race in this game is pretty high. And then for genders, actually, it's pretty split down the middle. Female gender-preferred roles in-game just surpassed male by about 2%. So, like, females is at 51%, and males are at 49%, which is pretty awesome. And then this is not anything surprising to me, but the majority of our FC, so like 70% play on PC, but 13% play on both systems, so PlayStation and PC, and then 19% play on PlayStation. So when you think about PSN networking friends, there's actually 20% of our FC plays on PlayStation, which is kind of cool. And yeah, that's pretty neat. The vast majority of our age bracket for the FC is actually 19 to 29-year-olds at almost 60% of our FC. Behind that is 30 to 39 at 5%, and then 5% from 40 to 49. We actually have 2% that are older than 50, and that's freaking fantastic. I love seeing that wide spectrum of player base. And then another question here that is going to have a reward associated with it. Not job now. What is the preferred role by our FC? Nice. So Charbuncle, you actually got it. So the number one played role in our FC is tank at 25% of everybody that did the census. So I thought that was kind of neat because I'm like, I don't play tank regularly, and I see a lot of DPS in our yard, but tank is the number one like role that's played in our FC. Cool. So yeah, pretty. Oh, thanks, Charbuncle. Okay, I will. But yeah, that's pretty. That was some pretty neat information. Now, the cool thing that the reason why I asked for locations in our census was eventually we've all kind of had this grand idea of having an FC meetup where I would rent a hall out and we could all get together and hang out. Brock suggested a FC karaoke night when we meet up, stuff like that. And knowing where everybody is in the world will help plan where we can host that meetup to have the most amount of people affected. Obviously, if the majority of our FC was in California, I wouldn't put the FC meetup in like New York because, if the majority of our FC is in one side, then I wouldn't put our meetup on the other opposite end. I want to put our FC meetup where the most amount of people can attend with the least amount of effort. And obviously, this is not going to happen for at least a year because of the pandemic, but it's just cool to see that it's looking like Chicago is the most central zone because we have a lot of Canadians in the FC, a lot, and then we have a lot of US individuals as well. But when I mapped out like a central point from all the people in the FC, it looked like Chicago is the largest major city. So anybody who lives near Chicago, we're pretty much eyeballing where we're going to meet up. But yes, we do have plans. We're thinking about ideas of what we can actually do on a meetup, and hopefully we can get a lot of people to come out. Obviously, it's not for a year. So yeah, that's just the reason why. If you're wondering why does the FC want to know where I live? Well, that's why I only said city and state, state and country, not city and state, because it's just kind of seeing where the closest area would be, the best area would be to meet up. Cool. So that's it for the census review. The next part of the agenda, we're about halfway through now, is just a recap of the stuff that we offer to you guys, because as newer members come into the FC, they may not know what we have that we give back. So how I mentioned during the FC mission and values, everything that we do has always been to give back to the FC. And all the programs that we create and all the ideas that we have are meant to give back to you guys. And that's always been my dream. So the first thing I want to talk about is the FC member bank, because it's kind of a hidden program that we don't really talk about a lot, but it's something that is there for members to take advantage of. We had an FC auction back in December that kind of filled up the coffers for this, and we are going to have an FC auction coming up again, probably in August, to refill the bank. This bank is not meant for any reason other than to help people who are in need of gil for a rare circumstance. So I'm just going to break down what that means. First point I want to mention is that if you ever ask for money from the FC bank, you do not have to pay it back. It is not a loan. It is just something that it's there for emergencies. So there are requirements to use it. So if you want to use the Black Waltz Bank, you have to be in the FC for at least 30 days. And then if you do use the bank, you can't use the service again for 60 days. Now, what can you use the service for? So when I say emergencies, let's say a house appears, a plot appears, and we know how in demand housing is in this game. So let's see a plot becomes available, and you just barely don't have enough for that house. Because a house is such a rare commodity, you can ask for the bank to help you bring you the amount you need to get that house. So the requirement is, obviously you can't ask the FC Bank for a 44 million gil for a mansion. We haven't never had anybody ask that, so I'm just using that as an example. So like the amount you can request from the bank cannot exceed 30% of the total cost of what it is you want to buy. So, or it can't be greater than 1.5 million gil. So the example that I'm giving is, let's say a small property comes on the market for the 3.5 million, and you want to purchase the property, but you're short 1 million. Since the 1 million gil that you're short is less than 30% of 3.5 million and less than 1.5 million gil, you can get that money from the FC, and you will never have to pay it back. It's definitely not a loan. It's just not. Don't ever feel like you have to pay it back. If I'm not online to give you that gil, you just have to ask a flare, like a member of the leadership team. They will give it to you, and then I'll reimburse that leader when I come back online. Just something to note as well. You can't request gil for miscellaneous items like glamour items that are for your personal collection or minions or mounts or anything like that. We do have the Crafting Emporium program, which we can talk about in a little bit, that already provides heavy discounts on those things. So that's a separate entity. So if you're like, oh my god, I really want that rebel coat, but I'm short 500,000 gil, that's not something that you could ask for gil from the bank for, because that's just personal. It's not an emergency. And then you obviously can't use the bank to purchase Waltz lottery tickets. But let's say an FC member wants to put together a learning party for the newest Savage fight, so E5S, for example. And let's say you don't meet the item level requirement to use that. You can actually use the Waltz bank to pick you up 4 or 5 pieces of gear. It doesn't have to be one item per bank loan or bank ask. It can be multiple items that fall under one request. So like if you need a body piece and pants, you can request the bank to help you with it, and they will pay for that for you, and that counts as one request. Make sense? And then the other point to mention as well is we do have a separate fund for FC rooms in the FC house. So if you have less than 1 million gil on your character and you really want to buy an FC room, it's 300,000 gil. You can get that money from the FC one time only, and it does not count as a bank request. So that's just a fund that was put aside for anybody who might not be able to, not have the money to spend on an FC room. Like you might only have 600,000 gil, but you don't want to drop 300,000 gil on a room. That's when you can request to a leader, can you help me with my FC room? And again, all requests are confidential. Do not worry about ever being shamed for asking for gil. It's here to support you, and it's gil that is donated to the FC for this reason. So don't ever feel like you're asking for too much. It's here for you to use. It's here for you to take advantage of. But again, remember, it is meant for everybody. So if you really don't truly need it and it's not an emergency, consider trying to find alternative means to get those funds. But it is there for those extenuating circumstances where you want to participate in something or buy a house, and you just are just short of the gil. Anybody have any points they want to add for that? Yeah, for your question there, Borber, we actually have a channel in Discord called Crafting Requests. You can put your requests in there, and a member of the Crafting Emporium will take care of that for you. And if it requires access to the Black Waltz Bank, that Crafting Emporium member, if it's not a leader, can reach out to the bank on your behalf, and we will provide them with what they need. But we'll talk more about that, about the about the crafting requests when we get to the Crafting Emporium section of the agenda. Any last points you want to mention about the for AI? For your point, any gil you drop in the FC chest, it goes into that fund. So if you ever want to donate anything, you can just drop it in the FC chat, or if you want to give it to an FC leader, they'll put it in the chest for you. But everybody has access to donate, and I want everybody here to be 100% clear that you are not expected to ever donate anything. We don't want you to feel obliged. We're not going to charge you a membership fee to be in Waltz ever. So If you want to donate because you feel like you want to, please do at your own discretion. But never ever, please never feel like it's being like asked for or we expect it of anybody. No, actually, Skyman, we'll talk about that in a little bit too. Yeah, so I'm just waiting to see if anybody's any last points about the bank. Like the bank was the brainchild of me on the last town hall, and we have had some people use it since the last town hall 6 months ago. But this is just a reminder that now that that program is up and running, it's there for you. Cool. So we'll move on to the next one. So the next one is every Saturday we have classes in the FC yard. And I know a lot of you have already come to several of these classes. They're extremely, extremely popular. And as long as people keep showing up to these classes, we're going to keep doing them. And just a reminder to our newer members of what those classes are is we have veteran people or veteran members who will teach you jobs that you might be scared to pick up or scared to learn. And the schedule for those classes is actually on our website under the roll course link. And if you ever want to attend one of these classes, a veteran will actually go through the job from the very basic level to the very like up the end, like level 80 level. So the goal of these classes is to make sure that you guys are extremely comfortable with the job, because I know what it was like when I was picking up a healer job 6 years ago and how terrified I was to heal a dungeon. I didn't actually have something like these role courses, and we want you guys to know that they're there for you to learn these jobs. The tank courses go over enmity management, how to what enmity is. Healer classes go over, and that's just to your point there, Lystra. You can show up to a class even if you just want a knowledge increase on the job. I'll give you an example too. When I started playing Black Mage, which is my main job in this game, because I played previous Final Fantasies, I thought that Fire 3 was the spell I had to use all the time because it had a 3 beside it. Obviously, those who know Black Mage know that that isn't true because it's not MP efficient and it won't maximize your damage. It took somebody in a dungeon to say to me one day, hey, do you want? I can show you how to be a better Black Mage if you want. They didn't put me down. They didn't judge my player, how I played. I just didn't know. And they asked me, if you want, after this dungeon, I can show you how to be a better Black Mage. And I was like, sure. And at the time, duties weren't cross-server, so they were on the same server as me. They took me to a striking dummy, and they walked me through how to play Black Mage at level 50. That's what it was at the time. So these classes are there for somebody who might be playing a job as well. They just want to get better at the job, but they want to know tips and tricks. A lot of our teachers who teach these classes actually put together are starting to get in the habit of putting together text guides. If you look in Discord under the Classroom Notes channel, you'll see that there are some of our teachers are actually posting their personally made text guides for the jobs that they teach. So I'm teaching Summoner tomorrow. I just created a Summoner text guide. I posted it in that channel as well. So if you're coming to my class tomorrow, check there, and you can follow along with me as I'm doing it. But that's just another added bonus to how we can help you be better at the job. And nothing will ever be about judging you. We've all been a new player. We've all been, fresh in a job. So if you want to come to a job, don't feel judged ever. We're here to help you out. Amazing. It's in the Classroom Notes section. Oh, what? Somebody said my name?
Yeah, Waltz, you did.
What's up?
The next Blue Mage class is going to feature a video guide.
Awesome. So Washu teaches Blue Mage, and he said he's putting together a video guide for you too. So hey, just one more thing that the leader, when your teachers are doing, just to give you that extra oomph in your learning. So just come to the classes if you're unsure, or maybe you just want to touch up your skills. And after talking to some members, we are starting to see that people might want advanced level classes. So this is where I'm going to be getting feedback from you guys now. The difference between a current class and an advanced class. So a current class teaches you the basics, how to play the job, the like like the what like for black mage, like what the different phases mean for summoner, what dots mean. It goes from the very rudimentary level, assuming that you know nothing about the job. But the advanced classes would be stuff like how to optimize during a raid situation, how to pump out more damage during a raid situation, um, the stuff that goes beyond what a basic job can teach you. And if you are interested in that, I'm going to put a poll in Discord after the town hall for yes or no if you think you would benefit, because I don't want to invest the resources and the time of our leaders and our teachers in doing classes that there may not be an interest in. Now, Brock, as you just see in Say Chat, he suggested that we have a G-Pose class, because our classes don't just revolve around battle classes and crafting. There's actually Muffinella teaches a class on housing, how you can put furniture down and glitch furniture, and Brock's going to teach a G-Pose class to show you what the cool things you can do with G-Pose to get those really cool pictures and that sort of thing. So there's something for everybody, and we sometimes don't know that there's a niche for something until somebody tells us. So if you have ideas of things you want to see in these classes, or ideas of a class you might want to teach, we are completely open and receptive to anything, because our Black Waltz University class schedule gets updated pretty much monthly with a new thing. So we have a housing class, we have a lore and history class on like Final Fantasy lore. There's a fishing one, a crafting one, there's mining and botany, there's blue mage, and then all the battle classes, stuff like that, are in there as well. So if there's something you want to see, just let us know, and we'll work it out for you. So we are here for you guys. We want you to know that first and foremost. So anything we can do to make your gaming experience better and protect your your gaming experience, we will go above and beyond to try and do that too. So you can just private message me any requests you might have for classes, because I don't want them to get lost in our Say Chat here. And then I'll try and find people who are willing to teach that class. So, and that also, if you're interested in teaching a class, please reach out to me too, because I teach the majority of the magic classes, but I don't mind having a break. If somebody wants to teach a class, by all means, just let me know. Dragoon is tomorrow, Reen, and then it's Summoner after Dragoon. There's always 2 classes every weekend. Yeah, so it's Dragoon first, because the teacher has to raid after his class, and then Summoner is happening after that. But yeah, so if you have any ideas, or even if you want to teach, please let me know, because the more teachers I have, the less people have to teach. So essentially the way our current schedule works, classes repeat every 6 to 7 weeks. So if you want to be a teacher, that means you might only have to teach once every couple of months. And, it's a small time investment if you really are passionate about that. So, hooray.
Sorry?
Yes?
I know I posted this in Say Chat in-game, but the Gunbreaker trainers,
Yep.
I could not only host a class, obviously in-game, but also make sure that I have VOD available for people who, like, one of the members said they work third shift, so that way they can watch it and be as to the basics, so that way they're not left out.
Well, we're going to get into the video part, because there's actually a section of our agenda today talking about videos, which is ideas that we have for upcoming stuff. So, but yes, you can definitely videotape your class if you want and send it privately to people. But if you want, like, also if you want a one-on-one class with somebody, any of our teachers who teach a class are also committed to one-on-one lessons as well. And that includes practical classes. For Borber, the only go ahead.
I was just saying, don't hesitate to ask any of them.
Yeah, exactly. So Borber, to answer your question, the only requirement to be a teacher is that you have to know the job in and out, because in some situations I might quiz you on it, because I, as a raid leader in this game, it's my duty as a raid leader to know every job in and out, and we want our teachers to be giving accurate information. And it's not a personal stab at any potential teachers. It's just to limit any misinformation that might be given out, and I don't think anybody would intentionally give out misinformation. So that's it. If you're very confident on a job, like you're really interested in teaching a job, just let me know, and we'll work it out. I'll work it out with you, because I want you guys to give back to the FC as much as we want the FC to give to you. So, the other point to mention with the classes is I've received feedback that there are people who are off continent that can't attend our Waltz Box event that happens every other Sunday. So we were toying around with the idea of the classes being switched to Sundays, and the Waltz Box event being moved to every other Saturday, just so that we can get more people in coming to the events and having the ability to have these events available to them. So I'll put a poll in Discord as well after the meeting today to see which day you guys prefer the classes being on. And then the majority obviously will decide if it stays on Saturday or if it's okay to move to Sunday. And just remember, the only reason why we want to move the classes to Sunday is so that more people can participate in the Waltz Box event, which I'll talk about in a bit. And yeah, Borber, I definitely welcome anybody offering to teach, because one more teacher offering is one less time I have to teach, because there was a point where I was teaching 10 of the 14 classes before I started getting volunteers. So definitely welcome all of the help. So all right, so then just talking about the newsletter, the newsletter was the brainchild of the last town hall as well, and we brought that to life. We have a team that works very hard on the newsletter every month. So if you guys haven't seen the newsletter, it's posted on our website under the newsletter tab, but I also post it in Discord. It's a really great way to kind of get to know your FC mates, because there are interviews in there. Our newsletters are being extremely well received. So we're going to continue to do them, because, again, the more we can do to make your gaming experience better, the more we're going to keep doing it. So just keep on letting us know your feelings on the newsletter. If there's something you want to see added to the newsletter, please let us know. There is a poll, like Diana said. Please take the newsletter poll, because the content of the newsletter is what you guys want to see. So please keep reading on, and if you have any suggestions for it, let us know. And I just want to, as a FC leader, thank everybody who's involved in the newsletter every month from the bottom of my heart, because when I'm commuting to work now, I'm reading. I have my newsletter that I can read now. So, and we definitely need more people to interview. So take the poll if you ever want to participate. We're looking for people to contribute their art, and that sort of thing too. So please, please, please keep on letting us know what you want to see in there. If there's something you don't want to see in there, we'll take it out. So just keep on letting us know, and we'll keep on doing it just for you. Diana and Muffin and Jurina, is there anything you guys want to add about the newsletter aside from the poll? The mic is yours.
I just really want to emphasize the poll a lot, because sometimes you're like, oh, who do we interview? So not to I'm going to be repetitive, but take the poll when you guys have a chance. It would really mean a lot to us, and would help the newsletter. But I'm glad that you guys are actually enjoying the newsletter. It's nice to hear that kind of feedback.
Good.
That's all I want to say.
Thanks, Sharina. Thank you, and again, thank you everybody who reads it, because if nobody's reading it, we're not going to make it for you. So, yeah, as long as you're liking it, as long as you're enjoying that content, we're going to keep bringing it to you. But yeah, so what's that, Diana?
Just if anyone has an idea for an extra section in the newsletter or whatever, please just contact me or Trina or Mufi about it, and sure we can add it in. That's it.
And for those that were reading the leadership expectations at the beginning of this town hall, you'll notice that one of the electives is additional events or projects for the FC. And Muffin, Jarina, Diana, and Freya all contribute regularly to the newsletter. So, again, this just makes me so proud to have such a strong team beside me every day, bringing this stuff to you guys every single time that we can, and making your gaming experience even more enjoyable. Just somebody named Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is the Waltz merchandise store. Quickly. I did not expect the store to be so popular and so so many people are buying stuff from the store that Kuya had to bring the store offline for a few days to catch up on orders. So I absolutely love that you guys are buying stuff, because the profits of the store, for anybody who doesn't know, 100% of all of the profits go back into the FC in one way or another. None of us keep any of that money. So previous to the store, we would sometimes have people donating game time or donating like Visa gift cards to help other FC members, because again, this FC is all about supporting each other and lifting each other up. The store is an awesome way for you to do that without actually having to give money and getting something back out for yourself. So I bought t-shirts, I bought hoodies, I bought mugs, I bought hats. Like I'm pretty much going to spend money there every paycheck now, but everything that I spend there, a percentage of it goes back to the FC in form of profit. So 100% of the profits go back to the FC, but only a portion of the sale is actually profit, is what I mean. So and so the cool thing is, I asked Koya to kind of give me the numbers of what we've sold so far and what profits we've seen so far, and we've sold about $1,500 US in Waltz merchandise since the store went online a month ago. And of that $1,500, roughly 400 of it was profit. And that is all going back into the FC in the form of event prizes. If somebody is struggling to pay their subscription for a month due to the pandemic, the funds are there to help them with their subscription. And again, if you know you don't need this help, and you can go without the help, please, it's there to help out in emergencies. It's there for you guys. So please don't be scared to ever ask for that. And don't think that when I've had a couple of people reach out to me privately in Discord, asking me to put them on the offline rank in the FC because they can't afford their sub. And my first response is always like, the FC has this fund set aside to help out. And I want you guys to know that if you ask for help, it's private. No one will ever know that you've asked for help. The only person that knows is me. And I will never share that with anybody, not even the leadership team. And I don't want anybody to ever feel ashamed about asking for that help, because that is the whole purpose of why I had the idea of the store. The store was always meant to be something that we would create to give something back to the members who give, and also give back to the FC in another way. And that's all that's all the store does. We're not keeping anything. And if, in a year's time, we've not had to use that fund for, FC event prizes or, those emergency situations, that money is going to directly go to help out with that FC meetup that we're kind of in the process of planning as well. So just know that it's always going back to the FC, and I'm going to be very transparent on all of the numbers so you guys know, that we're not, embezzling this money. It's meant for you guys. I will always be transparent about it. Actually, amazing. I'm going to talk about that in a second. That's the next point I'm going to come to. So does anybody have any concerns or anything they want to add or ask about the store? Do you have positive or negative feelings towards it? How do you guys feel about it? Like, the whole purpose of the store? You can type in "say chat." And like Diana just mentioned right there, like we will put stuff in the merch shop that you guys are requesting. So like, I know Koya was looking at like boxers and underwear, wearing the Waltz branding on your underwear. Beach towels just came out. We just added skirts to there too. So if we're and hats as well, like baseball caps and beanies were all added as well. And those were all ideas that were brought up by you guys. So you guys said, can we see hats there? Koya worked very, very hard to get these things there, and she continues to work hard all the time to make sure that we can bring these things to you. Wyvern, what's your idea? In response to yours, Charbuncle, I was I said I wanted a pair of boxer briefs that had a Marlboro in the back side with bad breath coming out. That was one of my ideas. But yes, if you have any additional ideas, reach out to Muffin, Koya, or Diana. And if you're an artist who wants to contribute your designs to the FC, for the purpose of the store, reach out to Koya privately. Due to the amount of products in the shop, we can only afford to really add one artist per month. So if you want to, not afford, but we only have the time to work in one artist per month. We'll get more efficient at that as time goes on. But if you are an artist who has really wants to contribute their art to the store, we would love to have you. Just reach out to Koya and work out when that can be, how long until we can get that up in action. But yes. And Koya mentioned the newest artist to our repertoire is Sour Milk. And if you've not seen Sour's art, absolutely fantastic work. So check him out. Check out the art. Let me see if anybody had any points that they mentioned here. Just going up to the notes here. Yep, we've gotten requests for the big mugs already. Like the beer mugs and stuff like that. Like those are all stuff that we have on our list of things we're looking into. The only thing I have to add is because of the pandemic right now, shipping times are really badly delayed. I ordered all my stuff on the very beginning of May, and I've yet to receive it. It is going to be coming. We really appreciate your patience, and especially some of the stuff we want to add to the store, like backpacks and stuff like that. The avenues of us to get the manufacturing partnerships we need to work out. Those manufacturers aren't supplying those products right now because of the pandemic, but as the pandemic lifts up, you will see what's in the merch shop expand as well. Perfect. So that's it for the store. That's always, again, it was a dream of mine many years ago to have something like this, and I'm so proud of Koya and Muffin and Diana and all the work that they put in to get it up. They actually surprised me with it last month. Because at the last town hall we kind of talked about it, and I was doing prototypes with some manufacturers on shirts and stuff like that. And then Koya secretly worked on this project behind the scenes, and then surprised me with it one day, and I literally cried for hours, and it was wonderful. So, yeah, it was just a huge surprise. So, thank you, Koya, Diana, Muffin, and now Sour for all the work that you guys do to invest in that shop and giving back to the tea and to our family. So. Cool, that's it for the shop. Now, just the last point I'm going to mention is the Crafting Emporium, which is one of the programs that we offer for you guys. We're constantly evolving that program to suit the needs of our members and crafters. So the Crafting Emporium is just a network of crafters and gatherers within the FC who work together to fulfill member requests. And if you go to the website under the Crafting Emporium section, it lists the pricing. So obviously the pricing is made out to be fair to both the member who's buying and the crafter who's making it, because there are some requests that will literally take the crafter hours to make. So we want those crafters to be adequately compensated for their time, because just expecting these crafters to do this for you for free is a little unfair. So we try to work out a program that was fair to both the buyer and the seller. In addition to that, oh yeah, cool. Yeah, that's actually, I'm gonna get to that point as well. So, don't be late to your doctor's appointment. Yeah. So the Crafting Emporium, though, if you want to be a part of that program as a crafter, reach out to Muffin right now. We are in the process of trying to find a manager for the program. So if you're a person who's a really strong crafter and gatherer, and you think you could take up that job right now, and then because right now it's pretty easy. It's just a matter of when somebody puts that crafting request in the Discord channel, making sure that somebody is taking care of that crafting request and not keeping that person waiting. That's all that the managing portion is. When the item level cap is increased and all the new crafted battle gear comes out, the request line tends to get filled really quickly, and the crafters get overwhelmed. So in a situation like that, we will have multiple people helping manage the program. But it's something that we're always trying to make sure that both sides of that fence are getting the most out of it, you know? So yeah, feel free to reach out to me or Muffin to become part of that program. What's really neat about the program too is if you're an FC member who may not want to craft, but you want to help out with that program, the last tab in our FC chest is full of the crafting materials that you need for some of the rarer gears. From some of the rarer crafts, and that's all donated by FC mates. So that stuff you can donate actively. And what happens in that situation is if somebody who may not be, wealthy in game needs something crafted, rather than relying on the bank, the member bank that we talked about, that individual, the crafter who's making the item for them, can then get the resources from the FC chest, which are donated by FC members to help with the cost. So as an example, when that Neo Ishgard set came out, when the last level cap increase happened, the Neo Ishgard set was a roughly 3 million gil to purchase outright on the market board. But the only thing that made it expensive were the materials that you had to spend your tombstones on to acquire. Because we have this vast resource of donated materials, we could actually reduce the price of that craft for our member quite substantially, so they get a really cheap piece of gear, and they don't have to worry about the cost or anything like that. So, so that's the Crafting Emporium. Just to kind of remind you guys of what it is and what it does. If you want to help out in any way, whether it's donating materials, you can reach out to Yuzu or Muffin. Excuse me. And we can arrange that for you. But remember, anything that you donate, the whole purpose of the donations is to help other FC members, because that is the fundamentals of this FC, giving back to each other to help each other out. Because who knows, there might be a time down the road where you need help with something, and you can then rely on other FC members who have been so kind to donate their time and resources as well. So. Now, the next part of the agenda is basically just talking about events that you guys like and want to see more of, and events that you didn't like that you want to see less of. This kind of mostly applies to our longer-term members because they're the ones that have been through numerous monthly and weekly events. If you are a person who really likes our foot race and want to see more of that, we can work that out. It was a little bit disappointing that our Glamour event last month only had 7 people participate. But, Glamour is not for everybody, so maybe that's just, our leadership's fault for, maybe not listening to the FC enough to get to see that might not be something that we want to see. So if you guys have anything you want to see more of, reach out to me privately or any leadership member with ideas. And, that also does go with ideas as well. So if you have a really cool idea for something, please let me know. My brain can only come up with so many fun ideas. I'm usually the one that plans the monthly events, the active ones. But if you have any ideas for a passive event, like the cinema screenshot contest that's going on right now, that was Dreena's idea. So if we have any ideas that you have, please let me know, because we definitely want to have more fun things to do to bring our community together. Cool. So, just seeing if there's anybody have anything you want to add to that. Oh, AI, that's actually an event that's coming up. So, please look forward to it, as Yoshi P would say. So that's it's on our next Ryuma. We have a talent show as well every year. We can probably make a talent show every 2 years. So. Amazing. We've actually tried to work out a scavenger hunt before, but it's very difficult because you have to bear in mind that not everybody can get to certain areas in the game. So when we're planning events, we want to... That's a good point, Billy. So I'll keep that in mind for the next aspect, the next one we do. I'm probably going to remove the performance piece as well. Something to consider, Amazing. I'll take that away. Now, the other thing, too, is we did start up Waltz Box events. And for those that don't know what Waltz Box is, every other Sunday we play the Jackbox party game series as an FC. And we usually go for 3 to 4 hours, and it's just absolutely fun. A lot of fun. You get to know the humor of your FC mates. It brings the FC a bit closer. So that got us to thinking, maybe there's other things that we can do outside of Final Fantasy to make our community even stronger. And the idea got brought up of like a Super Smash Brothers tournament for anybody who wants to play that. We could stamp a Waltz official event stamp on it and come up with a Super Smash Brothers tournament. Brock City is really good at organizing those things. Washu had the idea for a Black Waltz Dungeons and Dragons night because he has a version that everybody can play.
I can expand on that.
Sure, go ahead and you can talk about that, Washu.
Okay, so I have an online program called Fantasy Grounds. Currently in its beta phase, but it's still working pretty well overall. I paid the big bucks so that you don't have to. All of my players can play for free instead of having to pay for it because I've paid for you. And I also have modules set up that we can play as Final Fantasy characters. It includes roles such as the Dancer, the Dark Knight, the Black Mage, all of it's in there. The way that the classes are set up are similar to several different durations that we've seen. Some of them are really smashed together, some not so much. The Dancer is the biggest example. It's got elements from Final Fantasy 14 countries that are on the map travelers. But other things like Black Mage are very much like 14, such as having an Opium, although it works slightly different. Things like that. I'm working on creating all of the modules so that we can play an adventure and haven't decided exactly what they're with, but I'm willing to take up to many people at once, depending on.
Yeah. So, and obviously we would want to spread it out so it's fair too. So when Washu's in the process of working out how it's going to look, but I can definitely tell from FC Say Chat that there's a lot of people interested in that. How about, so definitely we'll put a green light on the Dungeons and Dragons stuff, and I'll have Washu work out what that's going to look like.
I'm glad you can see Safe Chat. Thank you.
If you guys are, well, there's a lot of people interested. Like Washu's at work right now, guys, so he can't actually see Say Chat. So Washu, I'll just read out some of the things here. There's a lot of people that are interested in it. So, hang on a second. Going down. So Scarlett said D&D me up. I'm down. Tyrion said yes, he's interested. Makoto said yes. Airdrie said yes. Like, there's so many people that are saying yes in Say Chat. So, I'll talk to Washu on the side about coming up with what that plan looks like, and then obviously there's interest for it, so we're going to greenlight that, bring it, and we'll have it rolled out hopefully sooner than later. And once that's done, Washu can take 8 people at a time. Is there any questions you guys have for Washu about how it looks or anything like that before we move on to the next one?
Hey, boss.
Yo.
I have a question about the glamour contest.
Yep.
What if the people that like want to have they like want to participate in the glamour contests don't want to like actually do it themselves? Could we have like models?
Yeah. That's a great feedback, Ryuma. So, like, some people who might have stage fright, you can have a model show off your outfit as long as that model knows that you are the one who is gonna win. And
I
then,
wouldn't say stage fright, like more like doing a Fantasia into like the glamour that they're thinking of.
yeah, we can take that away, Rima. We'll talk about that definitely. Yeah. So again, all these ideas, like I was seeing in Say Chat, look great. My only request is when you guys have an event idea that you want to see, it's a lot easier if you come to me with the full details of what that event's going to look like, because it saves the work from me to have to put it together. So if you got, I'm already doing a lot of planning on my own events too. So, like for you, Borber, if you're talking about tabletop simulating games, write up me a small write-up of what that would look like and how the rules would be in place and that sort of thing, and then we will obviously review it together, and if it's good, like if it works with the FC, we'll greenlight it too. So it's one thing to come to me with an idea, but if you come to me with a fully realized idea, it can actually get approved a lot faster. Awesome. So yeah, Billy, thanks for that, adding that point as well. Lucien, the Minecraft would be awesome. I don't play Minecraft, but if anybody does, I could definitely see us setting up like a Minecraft Waltz server, something like that. But again, any ideas you guys have, just yes, send me the ideas via Discord, and we can work it out. But it sounds like we have some awesome work ahead of us for some awesome FC ideas. I'm really excited. Now, in Say Chat, is there anybody that would be interested in a Smash tournament once a month? Oh god, a lot of people lighting up there too. So, yep. So, Brock, you have some work, my friend. I know you said you would definitely plan that one. So, if you have free time in the next few weeks, let's see if we can get something put together for them, and
Yeah.
we'll get that rolled out hopefully next month. The more events we have that we can bring our community together, bring our community closer, the stronger of an FC we're going to be.
Sure. If you guys are interested in doing a Smash tournament or any other fighting game tournaments, feel free to send me a message on Discord. Fighting game tournaments are super easy to set up. You get a lot of people playing at once, and it's very fun. I know somebody was asking in Say Chat about what version we'd be playing. It would most likely be Smash Ultimate for the Switch. But feel free to DM me if you're interested or if you are into any other fighting games, and we can get something set up.
Perfect. Washu just sent me a note saying that he's going to hang out in general chat after our town hall tonight. So if you have any questions or even feedback or comments you want to add to a potential Dungeons and D&D FC event, he's going to be there to field any questions for you. Yeah, so he'll be doing that in general chat. So yeah, send me any ideas you have. If your idea is fully realized, it'll get pushed. We can actually get it pushed faster and put an FC stamp on it. If you guys don't know, our upcoming if someone's not on mute, if you don't mind muting yourself, that would be fantastic. Hang on a second. Oh, thank you, Joy. Awesome. So if you guys have any ideas, bring them to me. The next FC event is our foot race, which is happening on the 26th of June. If you guys don't know what that is, please come. It is absolutely hilarious. It is a super fun event. It's opened up to the whole server, because some of the events we actually open up to the server. So Waltz has to represent. So come on out and show them what we're made out of, because we do get a lot of people on the server who comes to some of the events that we open up. So come on out and have fun. The next Waltz Box event is actually this coming Sunday. So if you're interested in playing Jackbox with us, please come on out. Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern is when it starts. So please come on out and have some fun. All right, so now, one second here. I see Nina has there. Yep, we can take that away, Nina. There's no way to put a bot in-game that does those reminders, but I can definitely ask the leadership team to increase the frequency in which we do our reminders. Freya, do you have something you need to add?
This is Freya. So some of you might know me as the person that keeps the spreadsheets of all the people who are interested in raiding in the FC. And so what we see a lot of lately is people are really interested in starting raiding or getting into raiding, but one of the things is that people don't want to do the recruiting part, or don't maybe know how to do it. So one thing I'll mention is, like, yes, if you don't know, we have a spreadsheet that has a list of people in the FC that have at some point in the recent past expressed an interest in raiding. So if you'd be interested in putting together a static or would be interested in joining a static, more important that we have people that would be interested in doing some raid leading and recruiting, and that is something that I am here to help you with. Anything from questions of setting your time or setting your loot rolls, anything like that. I just wanted to mention that as like a resource that we have. There are other, raid discords and stuff like that that you can use to outsource if you need to find people to raid with as well. But just letting you know that it is something that a lot of people recently have been expressing a lot of interest in. So if you do have an interest in raiding, you can always reach out to me directly. There's a raid channel Discord or raid channel in our Discord that can help you get started as well. So if you need any help with that, reach out to me. That's all I wanted to add.
Thank you, Freya. Yes, we do get a lot of members interested in raiding, but it's one thing to raid, but we definitely need somebody to pick up the reins and be a raid leader, because I'm a raid leader, Freya's a raid leader, we have other raid leaders in the FC as well, but they have their own groups already. So if you're interested in putting together a group where you think you're confident enough where you could manage one, please reach out to Freya. She's definitely there to help. She's committed to doing that, and yes, because the gap we have right now with that part of the FC is just the leading. So
to me is that a raid leader doesn't have to know absolutely everything. It's more of like a management kind of role where you need to be able to make sure people show up on time and stuff like that. But you don't need to memorize the fights ahead of time. Like you don't have to know absolutely everything. You can work on each bit at a time, and you can have one person do call outs and have a different person do the scheduling, different person worry about how your loot's going to work, stuff like that. You can delegate stuff like that too. So it doesn't all have to be on one person. You can kind of run things more democratically as well. So nothing to be shy about. You can ask me about anything.
And I do know that when the next raid tier comes in the fall, because 5.3 is not going to be a raid tier, 5.4 will be, and that's going to be probably November, when when that raid tier comes, you're gonna see a massive upswing of interest in raid. Again, even if you're not raiding now or you don't want to raid lead now, there's definitely going to be a larger pool of FC members interested when the next raid tier starts. So keep that in mind as well. But yes, thanks Freya for adding that. So yeah, please keep Freya in your minds if you need to have tips on how to start a raid group, or you want to lead, or you want to join one, all that stuff too. So awesome. So just want to touch quickly on the Ishgard restoration process. I am so proud of our FC. For those that are newer to the game, Ishgard Restoration it was end game content that was made for crafters and gatherers. But when it first came out, there was a ranking system that was done, and it basically ranked players against each other, kind of how Savage Raiders rate themselves and their damage and stuff against each other. There was a Square Enix ranking system that came out with Ishgard. And I am so proud to say that we had a member of Waltz in every single category in the top 12. And it was looking back at that time and seeing how much work everybody was doing blew me away. So saying that we even had some people that were in top 3, we had people that were in top 12, and it's healthy competition too. That's going to be coming again in 5.3. So in next month when they drop the new patch, the next Firmament Ishgard Restoration sequence is going to unlock as well. There'll be another ranking, and I'm so looking forward to seeing that healthy competition again, and seeing when I went to the Firmament, seeing so many FC tags Waltz everywhere. You couldn't go in any spot of the Firmament and not see Waltz. I was so proud as an FC leader. So guys, thank you for being so fantastic, representing our FC so well, because it shows, and showing how proud we can be of having us in the top 12, and in some cases the top 3 in every single category. It was amazing. For those of you that don't know how the ranking systems work in this game for FCs and for stuff like that, it's based on a point system. So if you open up the FC menu and you look at the top of the main FC menu, you'll see points. We have 93.3 million points. How do we earn those points? Determine our overall ranking against other FCs on our server, and how we earn points is through everyday activities. So you'll see me a lot encouraging FC runs of stuff, because I did the math on the point system a couple years ago. There are modifiers placed on content based on how many people in your FC are doing that content with you. So these numbers aren't factual, because the numbers, the amount of points that you get per activity varies on the activity. But let's assume that you do a dungeon by yourself. Completing that dungeon might earn you 250 FC points. However, if you do that dungeon with another FC member, that 250 is multiplied by 2. And then if you do it with 3 FC members, it's multiplied by 2 again. So it's 250 times 2 times 2 again. So it just keeps doubling. So the more stuff we do together as an FC, that's why our FC is ranked so high on Genova, is because, one, we're active, but even more important than that is we do stuff together. And the Firmament and the Ishgardian Restoration is just proof of that. So everything that you do every day, whether it's crafting, gathering, dungeons, raids, trials, anything you do gets us points. And you'll never hear me bring up our rank. You'll never hear me bring up our points because I really don't care about that. I care more about creating this culture and this environment where we can all play together. But it's really nice to see that without the leadership team even talking about that stuff, it's naturally happening because you guys are doing so much stuff together. And that our community is so freaking strong too. If you are curious to the weight of some of the points, the number one way that you could contribute to FC points is by turning in old dungeon gear to your grand company. That dungeon gear has the highest net value and the highest weight. So for me, I roll greed on every single piece of gear in every dungeon, and then I go and I turn it in every day. And that's just me. You don't have to do that, but that's how the weight system works. If you're crafting stuff, if you craft something that's high quality, it's obviously going to be worth more points than something that is non-quality. So again, just keep being awesome, keep building our community, keep doing stuff with each other, and we're just going to keep on seeing that we're still going to be a strong FC. Sometimes we'll see large FCs rise out of somewhere. They end up being number 1 and number 2 on the server for 1 week, and then they disappear from the ranking system that Square Enix has on the Lodestone. But what's so amazing to me and makes me such a proud FC leader is, without us even talking about this, we have been in the top 2 on Genova for almost 3 years now. So be proud. Be very proud of yourselves. Be proud of what you do. Because I'm proud of you, and I know the leadership team is as well. It just boggles my mind to see such a strong community happening, like every day in this game. So keep on doing that. Nina, if you go to the Lodestone, there's an actual section that says Free Company Standings. You can sort it by server and by data center, and then it tells you the ranks that we are against other FCs. So we've been top 2 for 2 years. Usually we're number 1, but sometimes we get passed here and there. But the FC that passes us doesn't really stay ahead of us for very long. So it just goes to show how strong our community is. So keep being awesome, guys. Keep being the fantastic people that you are. So that's it for Ishgard Restoration. We do have plans to put an FC vote out once they open up Ishgard housing. We're going to vote as an FC if we want to move our FC base or FC estate to Ishgard. We will not do anything without consulting the FC first, because everything that we do, we are obviously doing it for you guys. So if the majority says they like where we are, we will stay here. But if the majority wants to move to Ishgard, definitely we'll have a vote come out for that as well. Now, we're getting to the end of the town hall. So just the wrap-up portion now on the agenda is the next 6 months. What do we want to accomplish as an FC between now and the next town hall? Because, as I told you guys before, I manage a business in real life, so I'm always thinking about how can we be better? How can we move forward? What do I want to see in the next 6 months? So as long as we continue doing what we've been doing the last 6 months, I think our FC will continue to be a force to be reckoned with. I don't see any major things that I think that we need to really work on as an FC, because I think everybody is doing it already. Everybody is living our values and our mission every single day. So keep doing that great stuff. And when the next town hall happens, we're gonna see, when we do our 6-month review, has anything changed? Have we gotten stronger? And then obviously we will check and adjust and make changes to the FC based on the needs of the FC. So more pie, cookies, and sushi. Yeah, I'm going to order some sushi right now, actually, in real life. So so now the last point really is about an upcoming project, an idea that I have. So how I said that at the last town hall, I was we talked about starting a merch shop and starting those role classes and starting the newsletter. So all those ideas came out the last town hall. So one of the next projects that we're working on as an FC is videos, actually. So it's nice that Wash, you kind of touched on that. Is that we have a website, we have a store, we have a newsletter. So where can we take the FC now to the next level? And I believe that I think stepping foot into the interactive world of video, into the world of videos is the next step. So if anybody is really good with editing, we're looking to create an FC recruitment video, not necessarily to recruit people, but just to kind of show people who we are. So like, has anybody here, you can say it in the Say chat, has anybody here seen the Introducing Lalafell video? That comedy one that's put out? I'm going to post it in general, because it's absolutely hilarious, and I'm a Lalafell, so I don't like Lalafell jokes, but I found this to be absolutely hilarious, because it's classy, it's tasteful, but I would love a comedic video like this for our FC, kind of like an infomercial type video. I know Brock is good with video editing, and we have some leaders working on scripts, like Kellen's going to help him with the scripts. But if you ever want to contribute to that project as well, and you think you're good with video editing, we definitely want to see that. So I just posted in general now. But yeah, you can definitely watch it if you want to laugh. So yeah, that's the next project we're working on, and not just recruitment videos, but there's another little mini series that gave me the idea of doing like a mini series with our FC. So this would be a project that we would want most people involved with. So we would need writers to write the scripts, voice actors to do the voicing, and a person who's good with video editing and recording to do the actual video. I'm also going to post that video series too. It's called Young Money, and it is also a hilarious comedy about about like an FC that tries to make money criminally, I guess, in game. It's absolutely hilarious. So I'm going to post those so you guys can actually get an idea of what I think we want to do as a whole FC project. So if you feel you can contribute in any way to either of those projects, please let me know. I am an idiot and so dumb and ignorant when it comes to video editing. I tried to do a video edit for a Black Mage class I taught and ended up deleting half of the content. So that just goes to show you my level of computer literacy when it comes to videos. So yeah, so awesome. So that's all we really have to talk about at the town hall today. The last point is recognition. Actually, before I jump into that, I do want to talk about the changes to the Good Samaritan Award, because it does fall under recognition. As you guys know, every month we ask you to send us stories of other FC members who have gone above and beyond during the month, helping people, living our FC values, and just like being the embodiment of what we want our FC to stand for. So the next step of the Good Samaritan Award is, I don't know why I was not doing this from the very beginning, but I'm going to be sending you guys individually any stories that, even if you don't win Good Samaritan for the month, I'm still going to send you privately any of the recognition you receive from other members, so that you can read it and really see how much of an impact you're having, even if you don't really see it. So I'm really upset that I wasn't doing that before. I don't know why I was doing that before, but yeah, so please keep sending those stories in. You can send them in at any time of the month. I compile them, and then we announce the Good Samaritan for the month at the end of the month that we're in. So yeah, so I'm going to be sending you guys privately the nominations that you get, just to kind of brighten your days up, because I like when my boss in real life gives me positive reassurance and feedback. So I think that would be very wholesome for you guys to hear what other FC members are saying about you and all the great work that you're doing. So so before we get to the last recognition component of the meeting, is there any points you guys want to bring up since we have our group together here? I would send them at the end of the month, Grim, because like I don't know who's going to win the awards at the end of the month. If you win the award, all of your comments go on the website anyway. Awesome, Sour. If you want to share that, you're more than welcome to. All right, so awesome, thank you, Nagisa. You can share now if you want. Because the last part is just recognition. So if you want to share now, I'm more than welcome to. Oh, congratulations, man! That's fantastic. Awesome. So now well, I'm going to open the floor to recognition. So maybe you don't want to send in a Good Samaritan nomination for something. Please do, though. But if you want to share recognition to anybody in the FC, in general, now's the time to do it because you have a wide audience. So please feel free to share any recognition. Any shout-outs you want to do, please feel free. I just want to thank everybody for coming tonight. Like, I really know 2 hours is a lot of time to sit through, but I'm very thankful that we could have this time together. And we will have another one in 6 months, too. So please keep being awesome, and thank you for being here every day with us. Thank you for being a part of Waltz and being part of this community. So now feel free to share anything you guys want to share with each other.
Sure, I would like to start. This is Brock. I just want to give a shout out and thank you to everybody who's been hanging out in Discord voice with us over the last few months. I know everything in the world has been crazy, especially with Corona and especially with social distancing and everything. But it's been really nice to get to know everybody more, meet a lot of new faces, have a lot of fun times. The other night we were up till 3 a.m. listening to throwbacks and hanging out, taking G poses. It was sick. Yeah, it's been fun. Thank you guys.
Awesome. I forgot one point to mention, and Kuya just reminded me. So somebody mentioned earlier about donating money but not buying anything from the shop. Koya is working on a project right now, a coloring book that is going to be free to download, but you can donate money if you want to just pay for the coloring book. If you want to donate any amateur art, black and white, to that project, reach out to her as well. Because that you could just be hey, I don't want to buy anything, but I can donate $10. You can use the coloring book to donate money and still get something small out of it that you can give to your kids, or you can color it. And then we're looking into a coloring contest as well. And then the other thing too is we do highlight our artists a lot in the FC. We're also working on projects for other artistic mediums too, and events for writers and poets. So you'll see that coming down the pipeline as well. So if you're a writer or a poet or any kind of artistic person who maybe is an artist outside of drawing, there's something coming for you. So perfect. So I'm seeing a lot of recognition light up there, so I'm so proud. Thank you guys again. So is there any last things that you want to add before we close the meeting? How do you guys feel about the meeting? Do you enjoy this kind of thing? Do you feel like these meetings make you feel a part of something bigger? Good. Just I'm tearing up a little bit here seeing you guys say stuff. So just very proud to be your FC leader, guys. So thank you for everything. Whew. Okay. Well, Powerball will happen at 11:30 tonight. So if you still want to buy your tickets, please send me your Mog mails. I have to still sort through them. If you want to buy your tickets, send me the Mog mail, and I'll let you guys have the rest of your night back. So thanks very much for coming out, and I will post this video on our FC YouTube channel. So if you missed the town hall or you only caught part of it, the whole thing will be posted on our YouTube channel. So awesome. Oh crap! Yes, Lucian, thank you so much. If I could have like 5 more minutes of your time, we do want to get an FC photo in Central Shroud at the giant tree. So we'll meet there right now. We'll have the FC photo taken, and we're gonna post that on our website as well. One of the things that we're looking into in the Waltz shop is posters, and this is the type of thing that we're looking into adding for like a poster, is like pictures like these. So going to Central Shroud, Nina, Bent Branch Meadows. Oh, Lunar, yes, that was another idea that Diana was talking about as well. We're going to have an FC calendar as well, added to the shop eventually, where we're going to have more photos added and stuff like that. So for those that don't know where the tree is, I'm just going to link it in FC chat. Oh, never mind, Ion just did. Perfect, thanks, Ion. So we're going to meet there. Come on out for the photo. Oh my god, Wyvern, I said that. I was like, can we make a Waltz, like, sexy fireman calendar? It was when Diana brought the idea up at our leadership meeting last week. I was like, as long as it's a sexy fireman calendar, yes, please. But no, we'll definitely do a Waltz calendar.
I would buy one.
Because Koya found a manufacturer that will actually do calendars for us, too, so...
Now, are we talking in-game poses?
It would be in-game photos, of course. Oh goodness, can you imagine? Oh.
Can I just give a very quick shout out to Istari Ziomar for starting this free company?
I second that.
Who is this star?
Are they new?
I heard he's a scrub.
Sounds like a nerd.
He's definitely not a scrub.
For those of you that don't know, the irony about the fireman comment is that Juju Raven, who is a co-founder of this FC, he's helped me start this. He was the one that convinced me to actually start this FC. He's a fireman in real life, so when you say a fireman calendar, it's just funny.